Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Rights Commission Chairperson Thoko Mkhwanazi-Xaluva has backed the work of the Section 22 committee, saying it was intended to defend religious communities. Her remarks come in the wake of a dramatic resignation from the committee by former member Reverend Musa Xulu, who has leveled serious allegations against her leadership. The South African Church Defenders Chairperson Mpfariseni Mukhuba joins us now for more on that. Pastor Mukhuba, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. CRL went on to brief members of the media and members of the public, expressing confidence in the work of the Section 22 committee. Did they address key issues, I suppose, that would have arisen from the resignation of Professor Xulu?
Good afternoon to you. With regard to the press briefing which happened after the resignation of Professor Xulu, the CRL did not really address the issues that were raised, because the issues raised by Professor Xulu, they confirm what the SACD has been speaking about all along, that the processes are not being followed and that there is no integrity on the part of the CRL chairperson, and that there is also this push for a law to be passed in order to control the churches, in order to regulate the churches. And when you listen to what was presented at the press briefing, is a reiteration of some of the contradictory statements which the CRL chairperson makes. One day she says, we are going to regulate you. The following day, she calls it self-regulation. So what Professor Musa Xulu raised and what the SACD has been speaking about was confirmed even by this press briefing which took place, which never addressed the core issues of how that Section 22 committee came about.
So the key, I suppose, details regarding the defense surrounding this latest controversy is that the Section 22 committee, she says, was established to address challenges in the religious sector, focusing on creating a self-regulatory framework and a code of conduct. Why do you believe that this committee has deviated from that purpose?
It is very interesting that they keep on saying such statements, but the document which they produce, which, by the way, Reverend Maluma said on TV that it is a self-regulatory framework. It is speaking about self-regulations by the churches. It is not true, because the very same framework, I have got the framework in front of me right now as I'm speaking to you, just to prove to you that the things that they are saying are very much contradicted. In, I think it's 2.3, clause 2.3, it reads as thus. I'm going to read it to everyone so that the people of South Africa can know the truth and know what they are dealing with. It says the Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee has the responsibility to conduct consultations with all Christians, sectors, and organizations throughout the country about the development of the legislative framework to provide for. Then they came with the points. This is not self-regulation. When you are talking about a legislative framework, you are talking about a law. You cannot say that we are not driving towards a law, whereas the very same document that you are holding, it speaks about this. This is the development of a law. After this consultation, this is how laws are passed. After these consultations, they are going to go to Parliament. They are going to present the findings, which were rejected first time. And then this is how laws are passed. They are going for a law. What is written on paper and what they say is contradicting. And one MP in Parliament raised that while they were interviewing Thoko Xaluva.
Now, she says, well, look, my focus as the CRL chair, or at least our mandate, is intended to enforce ethical conduct. I mean, maybe even that word of enforce might be a little bit of a challenge, of the religious and linguistic communities, saying I'm not specifically looking at churches, but I'm looking at religious and linguistic communities as a whole?
Here, Thoko Xaluva right now is dealing with the Christian church, and she's focusing on the Christian church, as she has said herself. And on top of that, she got the Christian church to be listed. They got the CRL, the church to be listed as a domestic threat in South Africa, which is a very big thing and which is very much problematic. And when we are talking about these communities, is this not including the church? Is this not including the pastors? It is inclusive. How do you separate that? And how do you say that I'm coming in to protect you, whereas you are forcing, you are enforcing, and the mandate of the CRL is to protect and to promote these religious communities, not to come with something, a framework where you are going to be enforcing, where you are going to be pushing. It has to be the church that continues to self-regulate, because from the beginning, the church has been self-regulating for more than 2,000 years. Thoko cannot come today and want to bring something else and force people to adhere to whatever that she has conceived wherever, because this is not coming from the mandate that she was given by the Constitution. And we cannot accept illegality. We cannot accept the contravention of what is provided in the Constitution. We are protected as believers.
Now, as the Church Defenders, I mean, what are you going to be doing, particularly around how this committee was constituted and whether or not there is a broad resolution that was adopted by the board of the commission for the establishment of this and was supported by all? But also, what are you going to do about the claims that were made by Professor Musa Xulu, who says, well, she called the meetings, she chaired the meetings, and he hardly actually had any word in?
It is really worrying what is going on, because we are talking about people's beliefs here. We are talking about people's faith. We are talking about the fundamental rights of people, which cannot be toyed with. And when we look at what is happening right now, even what the chairperson said, that he resigned because he couldn't be part of church persecution, he couldn't be part of contravention of what is provided for in the Constitution. It is really worrying. Even the conduct of what is of the chairperson herself, even her utterances, they show that really we are dealing with a problem here. And this, which you are saying right now, that there was no consultation with other agreement with other commissioners, that she's running a one-woman show. There we have raised, and we want answers to be provided. And what was said on that day of the press briefing never addressed such point. In fact, they throw points like, go to our website, you are going to find all these documents. And we checked. There is nothing that is showing any resolution that was passed in order to form this Section 22 committee, and how these leaders who are there were appointed. So you can see that she's dodging. They are dodging the points. They cannot give the South African public what the real story is. She says today, it is bye-bye, you will not see me, you will see just the Section 22 committee. Then Professor Xulu comes and says that I haven't chaired the meetings. She was there all along. And we saw her even during the other press briefing. She was there. We didn't see the Section 22 running the show. She was there. So we are being really deceived here. We are not being told the truth. That is why the SSCD has taken the matter to court. We are calling for her to account. We want the courts to really demarcate, to help with the demarcation of the powers that she is given by the Constitution, the powers that she has and the powers that she doesn't have, so that we don't have people who are occupying offices, coming with crazy ideas and implementing them, toying with the lives of the people. Right now, she has really put the church under pressure. And it is very sad that it is happening in our country. And we are asking even our government, why are you quiet when this person who is there is tormenting the church?
Can you give us a clearer indication as far as the Christian faith structures who are supporting particularly your stance in this matter? Because the chairperson could tell us that, look, we have a broad representation of Christians on this Section 22 board.
Look at the structure itself of the Section 22 committee. You have got many people who are coming from the Chamber Church. You have got, I think, 2 who are coming from the 2 different ZCC. You have got Dr. Maluma, who is saying that he represents HISA, and if I can talk about the Pentecostals, the charismatic, Reverend Maluma of TISA, there are many churches, big churches, who are out, who are not supporting the stance of Reverend Maluma, because we had the Faith Mission statement, full gospel statements. They are not in support. And we have also heard Professor Xulu during the press briefing that the reason why the framework was done hush-hush on that day, it was, I can't remember whether it was the 19th, when it was presented, it was because even the SACC, they said that they heard that the SACC was planning also to distance itself. So there are many people and many organizations who are not for that, who are not supporting this framework. And speaking of the other people who are there, I cannot say that they are representative of the churches in South Africa. That is not true. It's far away from the truth. It is far away from the truth. There are really other people who are not represented there in that Section 22 committee. We don't even know how it was picked, and then it was said that it is representing more than 45 million people, more than 45 million Christians. We are asking for evidence to prove that it is true, because that is far away from the truth. Even from the people who are there, if I can talk about this, I'm really concerned. If this framework is done hush-hush, within 2 days they have developed something that is going to change the lives of people, and is done hush-hush, do those who are in the committee even understand what is going on? Because looking at that framework that is provided, it speaks about buildings that are compliant, designated for churches, and commercialization, whatever that it means. And when I look at the churches that are represented, the big ones, are they far removed from those things? Do they know that when the law is passed, it will affect even themselves? You wonder if really these people are really knowing what is going on. I wonder. I wonder.
Pastor Mpfariseni Mukhuba, I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for coming on. The chairperson of the SA Church Defenders, I beg your pardon, there, responding, of course, to the address by the CRL.